All right, Superhero Stepdad back again, and today I have the reveal from the PSA order that I shipped out a couple months ago. Shipped this out at the beginning of February. It is now the beginning of May, so March, April, May, like almost 3 months took for this to get here. It's a blind reveal. I have the grades that I predicted. There are 60 cards, I believe, in here. They're all vintage from 1958. Should be War on Spawn 1958. Mostly through the 60s. As you can see, there's a lot of 1960s, 68, bunch of 1971 Topps cards, 1973, 75s, a few 1980s, and 1984 Don Russ, Don Mattingly, ending with a couple of the 1989 Billy Ripken infamous F-face card, if you know what I mean. So I haven't opened these yet, just got them back. So let's see what we got. Said there should be about 60 cards. I think it's exactly 60 cards in here. Really have these things packed well, which is great. This is my first order that I've got back since I personally joined with PSA. I've subbed tons of orders before, but I'd always done those with a third-party subber. But this is my first time subbing myself, so assuming I get this open, we shall see what we got. All right. One box. So there should be 20 cards per box here. Here for a second. Sure there's nothing else in the box. Yeah, that box is empty. All right. So they're not marked in anyway, so let's just pick one and see if we can figure out and try to open them in the order that I subbed them. So if I get the different one, I'll come back to it. Hopefully they're in the same order. That's 1970 Rod Drew through 19. There's 80 Pete Rose, so let's set that aside. Let's see what this one here is. Slice this. Great. Oh boy, I see a couple of no grades. Fun. All right, this is 1971. So we'll set those. And that's 1960. So they must not be in order. They may not have returned them in the same order that I prepped them and shipped them. Let's see here. I'll check. Boxes open and we'll go from there. And there's 1982. Yeah, so these are not in any specific order here. All right. I was hoping they'd be in order so it'd be real easy to read them off the list. Let's start with these two cards that did not get a grade here. 3 cards. I had a feeling this wouldn't. This card was so cool. It says factory misprint, no holder. I was hoping that they'd give it some kind of grade because I just love this card. It was so cool. It's got Mike Schmidt and Steve Carlton on it. I'm a Phillies fan. I just thought this was really cool when I saw it. And it's just one of the coolest miscuts. I was just hoping they'd slab it authentic, but they did not. So put that one back. Let's see what the other one is here. 1973 Thurman Munson miscut. Do not holder. How is this one miscut? Miscut. It doesn't look like it has a diamond cut on it or anything. Oh, actually, maybe here. Now that I look at it. Not sure. I'll have to hold that. I have another copy of this card. I'll have to hold it against that and see. And the last card was the 1976 Babe Ruth min size. So that means that somebody might have trimmed it. I don't know. I bought this one online. It could also have just been out of the pack like that. Obviously, sometimes that's how they happen to be. So again, I'll try to find another copy of this or another one from that set and see how they measure up. Okay, well, this is what it is. Set those three aside. Set those over here. All right, let's start. This is pretty sure 1960 or 61 Mickey Mantle Post cereal. This is clearly just going to be an authentic. Yeah, because when I bought this card, I got it really cheap. It was all, as you can see, somebody penciled in around every stat there. It was, I think I only paid like $15 for it or something, but I thought it was, why not? I would just send it in to get an authentic altered grade, just to have it slabbed. Nice card. 68 Eddie Matthews. All right. 68 Eddie Matthews, I have 7 as my pre-grade, and we got 7. All right, excellent. Not bad. Next up, 1971 Topps Dave Concepcion rookie. All right, let's see. I have this one as a pre-grade of Concepcion, a 5. Right there we can see we have him as a 5. And we got a 4. All right, not terrible. Len Dawson, Chiefs quarterback. I think this was 64. Yeah, I had this one as a 4 pre-grade here. And we got 4. All right, excellent. Nice card. Next up, Joe Morgan, 1970 Topps. Had this one pre-graded as a 7. Comes back, 7. Great. That's pretty sharp. I like this card. I really like the look of the 1970s, and those uniforms are spectacular. I'm not a big Astros fan right now after the World Series, what they did to my Phillies, but those unis are cool. All right, here's that incredible 1971 Topps Thurman Munson. I have this pre-graded as a 4, right there. Grade 5. Hey, all right. Got one better than expected. I will take it. Definitely take that. One of the coolest cards of all time. Gale Sayers, 1971. Have this pre-graded as a 7. Such a cool card. The blue borders. Pre-graded 7. We get a 6. We got one on Thurman. We lost one on Gale. All right. Joe Namath. Forget what year this is. 68. All right, 68 Namath. We have pre-graded as a 3. Low grade card. That's not on it. And we got a 3. All right, not bad. 1968 Bob Gibson. Have this one graded as a 6. Got a 5. Not terrible. These 68s are really tough to grade. I got a few of them. Here's a 68 Joe Morgan, which I have as a 7. And it got an 8. Nice. Excellent. That is great. Absolutely. Lee May from 68. This one, it's not that expensive of a card. I have it pre-graded as an 8. I just thought it was kind of cool looking. And we got a 4.5. I don't know what I missed on that. Oh well, I'll have to look that over. Again, it's not really that expensive of a card. I just thought it was a high grade. It looked like it was, but oh well. 71 Jim Cott. I have this one as a 7 down right there. Pre-grade is 7, and I got 7. Excellent. All right. Next up, 71 McCovey. I have this one as a 6. Got a 6. Doing pretty well in these 71s. I mean, you can't expect to be pulling 8s and 9s or anything ridiculous on these 71s. Obviously, I'd be ecstatic with something like that, but the odds of finding one of those is rare. Pete Rose, I have this one from 71, pre-graded as a 5. And it gets a 5. Nice card. Another 71, Ted Simmons, his rookie card, which has gone up quite a bit in price over the past few years since he made it to the Hall of Fame. I have 2 of these in the set, or in the order here. One of them I have a 5, one of them I have a 4. So actually, here's the next one. Cover those. So one of these I have as a 5, one's a 4. Ooh, I got a 3.5 and a 5. Okay. So I was off by half a grade. Take them. Not terrible. Tom Seaver, 71. Have this pre-graded as a 7. And we get, boom, a 6. All right. Nice card. All right, that's the end of the first stack. Next stack is a 1980 Topps Pete Rose. I have this one pre-graded as an 8. Love this card. Weird looking card, but it is cool. Gets an 8. It's off-centered, as you can see, left to right. Clean back. Great card. Next up, 1978 John Stallworth. Legendary Steelers, Hall of Fame, PSA 8. I have as the pre-grade. Gets an 8. Can't complain whenever you get what you think they should get. You know, it's always good whenever the grades are consistent with what you expect. You know, I'm not asking for, like I said, higher than what I expect on all these, so I'm happy with what I expect them to be. 1973 Carlton Fisk. I really like this card. I have this one as a 7. Grade 7. All right. The front is usually clean on these cards. It's the back with that black border that is so hard to keep the grades up. All right, here is the 1971 Topps Don Sutton. I have 2 of these. Actually, I have 3, but one's in a separate order. It's not back yet. Before I reveal these, I have high hopes for these. I bought all 3 of these raw for like, I want to say $80 for the 3 or something. It wasn't too much. They're extremely clean, really well centered. I didn't see any chipping on them. They look great. The back, as you can see, is fantastic. So I pre-graded these 71s. I think 8s. Yeah, no, 1 a 7 and 1 an 8. I will be happy. Before I reveal the grade, let's look it over. It looks fantastic. Like obviously a little bit right down there, but let's see. 7. Okay. All right. We'll take the 7. Let's hope the other one comes back an 8. If the other one's an 8, that will be great. That just rhymed. All right. Again, very clean. Fantastic centering. Nothing much. Tiny little bit up on the top corner up there. Drum roll, please. Oh, we got the 8. Oh, it's so hard to pull an 8 on a 1971 Topps card of anybody, let alone a Hall of Famer like that. That is incredible. Nice. All right. Next up, 1975 Topps Mini, Bert. What is his middle name? Rick Albert. Blyleven. I did not know that. Bert, Rick Albert, Blyleven. Mini. This card's nice. Minis are awesome. 75s overall are just so hard to get with the multicolors and the chipping. I have this mini as an 8. And it gets a 7. All right, there's just so much that can go wrong with that cards from that set. All right, we have 76 Johnny Bench. One of my favorite looking cards. It just, every time I see this card, it just makes me think of something out of the Wild Wild West. It just looks like there's a huge sandstorm going by. It's like a showdown happened out in the woods. What caused that much dust to happen? Like, I know he's the catcher and everything, and maybe somebody just slid into home plate and kicked up like an insane amount of dust. I don't know. Dirt. I mean, that is just such a cool card. Anyway, 1976. I have this one graded. This one here, yeah, I have this there somewhere. I think there was a mark on it. I have it as a PSA 8 with mark and question mark. Let me turn it over without looking. Somewhere on the back. Not sure where I'm seeing it. Maybe that. Turn it back to the front. Well, let's see what we got. Okay, we got an 8. Excellent. They must not have found a mark. Or maybe there was a mark and they thought it was a 10. They knocked it down to 8. Well, regardless, I'll take it. Here we go. Big card alert. Dave Winfield rookie. 1974 Topps. I have this one graded, pre-graded as a PSA 7. I bought this one raw at a show a couple of months ago. I think it was in like January. I bought it at a show and I'm like, this card looks incredible. I forget, I think I only paid like 30 bucks for it or something. And I'm like, yeah, this is clean, perfectly centered. Have it as a 7 and it gets, 7.5, nice. It's rare that you get a half grade, but I will absolutely take it on a card like this. That is an awesome, awesome card. Next up, Mr. Peter Edward Rose, 1975 Topps. Got Mr. Rose pre-graded as a PSA 7. Comes back, 5. Okay. They're definitely tough on these 1975s. There's some white down there on the corner and a little thicker right to left, but top to bottom. Oh well, it's not bad. All right, this card here is the biggest concern I have out of the whole set, out of the whole order. It's the 1974 Topps Nolan Ryan. It's really sharp. I bought this at a guy who had I'm making another video about this guy's shop. He had a card store that he had back in the 90s. He had it like from the 80s and 90s, and it has tons and tons of vintage, high grade, and everything, like Mickey Mantles, you name it. And he had this Nolan Ryan card, which here, I'll turn it over without looking at the grade. As you can see, it's like perfectly centered. The corners are very, very sharp. There's nothing wrong with it at all. The back, though, has this tiny little dot there. Boom, right there. Looks like it's a Sharpie of some kind or something. Don't know. So I don't know how they grade, obviously, cards that have marks on them. Like, they're trying to do away with the qualifiers, I've heard. So I have this pre-graded as a 7 with a mark, but question mark, because if it didn't have that mark at all, I thought this card was at least a 7. So I don't know what it's going to get. It might get a 7 with an MK. It might get a 5 overall. It might get a 0. I don't know. So let's see what it gets. 3. I guess I've heard that if a card has a qualifier like mark or OC or miscut or something like that, I've heard that it drops the card automatically at least 2 grades from whatever it would have been automatically. So maybe they thought this was a 5 and that drops it down 2, but still this card presents insanely well. I mean, it's like the best looking 3 you're gonna find. And if you don't mind that back there, fantastic card. But I can't complain. I knew it had that going into it and I'm okay with that. All right, 1975 Topps Cliff Branch, rookie card. This card is under the radar. These cards are worth a lot of money. I have this graded as an 8, PSA 8. Comes back, an 8, excellent. It's like $150, $200 card, I think, in an 8. I will take it. Johnny Bench, 1977 Topps. I've got this as graded as an 8, 7, all right. Maybe it's like a little faded. I'll take it anyway. Next up, 1976 rookie infielders. I've got this pre-graded as a 9. This card's sharp. I mean, it's the only thing I could see is the top to bottom centering. It's not as good, but I mean, otherwise, I didn't see anything wrong with this card. So I put it as a 9. It's not worth that much. It's Willie Randolph's rookie. They gave it an 8. Okay, I'll take it. It's not bad. Jim Rice, 1976. Tops. I have this one as an 8. It's another one of those cards I think is really cool. I just really like all the cards with the rookie cup. Got a 7. All right. Not bad. Another one of those Wild Wild West Johnny Bench. Did I have 2 of these? From 76. Oh, I did. Oh, the one had the mark and the 8. The other had a 7. What did we get on the other one here? The other one got the 8. And I had, oh, okay. All right, so I got one with an 8. And one I have with a mark potential. Let's see, is there a mark? Oh, there we go, right there. So this is the one that I think might have some type of mark or staining on it because there's a couple of spots right there. I don't know if those are factory marks that are okay. I don't know what they are. So I don't know what to expect from this card, but I put it otherwise as an 8 with a mark question mark. So the one that I thought was a 7 got an 8. This one here I thought is an 8 with a mark, and it gets a 7. All right. Not bad. Still one of the coolest cards of the 70s. Next up, hockey time. I've got a couple Wayne Gretzky's. 1981 tops. I have this one as a 7. Comes back a 7. All right. I don't know much about hockey, but I do know that Gretzky can't go wrong. 87 Fleer Charles Barkley. I know they hammer these sets, the junk wax. I have this pre-graded as a 9. And it comes back an 8. All right. They look these over with like the James Webb Space Telescope to find any type of flaws, I'm pretty sure. Next, 1964 Topps Bill Mazeroski. All right, this card was so sharp that it could cut cheese. I got it pre-graded as an 8 and a stain and question marks. There's on the back, as you can see here, right around the runs and hits era or markings there, you can see something that's like, I don't know what that is. It's like some type of dark stain or something there. There's like, you can see it pretty good there. So I don't know how they're going to grade this. Again, I have it pre-graded as an 8 with a stain and question marks, maybe a 6 because of that. Fingers crossed, because this is a nice card if it grades high. Oh yeah, 8. Excellent. Excellent. Maz. Here's the Hank Aaron, 1967. This is a low grade. I have it pre-graded as a 1. It's, as you can see, it's all beat up, creases and everything. And it gets the 1. Next, Rod Carew, 1970. Have this pre-graded as a 6 and gets the 6. Okay, let's move on to the last stack here. 1968 Topps Game, Mickey Mantle. 68 Topps Game Mantle, I have, where is it? Right there. I have it as a 4 with a question mark. I have no idea how to grade these cards. I don't know exactly what they're looking for in everything. So I just took a shot in the dark and said 4. 5, hey. It's always a good thing whenever you get a higher grade than expected on a Mantle. I will take it. Next, 79 Pete Rose. Really like the 1979 set. I have this graded as an 8. Comes back a 7. Just something about the All-Star, the way it looks. I really like that set. Joe Montana, 1982. I have this one as an 8. Comes back an 8. Excellent. I'm not sure what he's doing there, ordering Domino's pizza or something on the phone. Great card. The other hockey card, Matt Naslund, 1983, O-Pee-Chee. I have this one graded as a 7. Right there. This card, O-Pee-Chee, as you can see, they're famous for having their borders like all choppy and everything. You turn it over, it might be easier to see. It's not. Trust me, they're like all jagged the way they're cut. So it usually doesn't affect the grades because that's how they're made. So I have it as a 7. Oh, it gets an 8. Excellent. All right. Great. All right, here's a biggie. The 84 Donruss Mattingly. I know it's not going to grade that high. I have it pre-graded as an 8. Again, this is another one of those James Webb cards that they're looking at from outer space to find any type of defect whatsoever. Pre-graded as an 8. They're probably going to give it a 2. 7. Hey. All right. This is one of my favorite cards of all time. I always wanted this card as a kid, but this was a card that was reserved for the bougie and the elite. Like, I mean, unless you were a Rockefeller whenever you were a kid back in the 80s, you didn't have this card. Such a great card. The Billy Ripken, the famous F-face card. All right, I have 2 of them here. I have pre-grades as a 7 and an 8. So let's see. There's an 8. There's, as you can see, what it says on the bat knob. I'm not going to repeat it on the air, but you all know about that card. And here's the other one. So if that's the 8, let's see if we got a 7. Ooh, 8.5. I had those pre-graded as a 7 and an 8. And we got an 8 and an 8.5. Oh, man. That is fantastic. One of the most iconic cards of all time. It's got to be the most famous error card, even more famous than the Frank Thomas No Name. It's easier to find than that card, but I think it's the coolest. 68 Topps, back to this set. Brooks Robinson. I have it as a 7. Comes back a 4.5. Well, they hammered me on that other Lee May card that was a 4.5. There's like that corner's all dinged. I was pretty sure these were not dinged whenever I sent them. Oh well, happens. 1960 Orlando Cepeda. I really like the 60 Topps horizontal cards. I have it graded as a 6. Gets a 5. Cool card. Here's the 1958 Warren Spahn, the oldest card I have in the set here. I have it as a 5 or a 3 in parentheses. I'm not sure why I put a 3 in parentheses, but I did. Boom, gets a 4. Hey, I'm right in between the 2 guesses, apparently. That is such a cool looking card. 1981 Topps Nolan Ryan. It's not one of those cards that's worth a lot of money if you pull a 9. I think it's worth like $100 or something. Where's it at? Down here. I have the 81 Nolan Ryan. I have it graded as a 9. So let's see. 8. All right. Nice card. 1980 Ozzie Smith. His second year card. I have it pre-graded as a 9. Comes back an 8. They're tough on those in 1980. Anything junk wax. Obviously 80 is not really junk wax, but anything from 80 on is just so tough. They're so tough on them. Here's another one of those Nolan Ryans, because I had 2 of them. The one had that little Sharpie mark, got the, what was it, a 3, I think, 3 or 4. I have another one pre-graded as a 7. Gets a 7. All right. Nice. Down to the last couple cards. 1977 Carlton Fisk. Carlton Fisk cards are worth a lot of money, and they're some of the coolest looking cards. I have this one pre-graded as an 8. Comes back an 8. These cards of catchers from the 70s. Johnny Bench, Carlton Fisk, Thurman Munson, they're just so cool looking. 1974 Pete Rose. Have it as a 7. And we get a 7. 1978 Pete Rose. Have it as an 8. And we get a 7. Mine, as I'm seeing here, they seem to be with how I have them graded. Well, let's check the Akeem 1987 Akeem Olajuwon. I have it as a 9. 7. Yeah, again, it's thicker on the right than the left. They're just so tough on these. It seems like there's 3 cards left. They're tougher grading on the junk wax. Anything 1980 and on, getting hammered more, other than those 2 1968s, which I don't know what happened. I'll have to look at those more closely, but I've been getting it pretty close on the 71s and stuff like that. But yeah. 1981 Topps George Brett. I have this one graded as a 9 right there, and it comes back a 9. Oh, that's the highest grade yet for anything, I believe. This card was perfect, just about. Love to get a 10. A 10 on this would probably be a couple $1,000s, but I'm not going to complain at a 9. It's got to be worth at least 100, 150 bucks. Last two cards. We have an O-Pee-Chee, 1981 O-Pee-Chee, Wayne Gretzky, which I have graded as a 7. Gets the 7. All right. And the last card I have, 1982 Topps Walter Payton, which I have pre-graded as a 9. We get an 8. All right. All right, overall, I'm not upset with this order at all. Those two cards from 1968, the Lee May and the Brooks Robinson, which they came back at 4.5 each. I don't understand that. Again, I'll look them over, see what I can figure out. But for the most part, I'm very, very pleased with the way these cards came back. The grader did a great job. I feel like I pre-graded them and they graded them just in line with how I felt they were. I looked these over. Whenever I'm looking them over, I look them over with... I use a magnifying glass with like 10x magnifying under extremely bright light. I look over every part of the card, you know, I'm real close. I go back to back, the entire card, front, back. You know, I make sure I have gloves on to make sure there's no fingerprints. I use like a microfiber cloth. If I do get any fingerprints, I wipe it off. I make sure these cards are flawless. I'm not doctoring them or anything stupid like that. I don't do that. But, you know, you can wipe fingerprints off. That's fine. But other than that, I make sure that the cards are crisp. If they're not, I don't bother sending them in unless it's something that I think is worth slabbing. But yeah, for the first time that I've sent on my own, I'm pretty happy with this. So I have another order that's in grading right now. It's been in grading for like 2 weeks. So it should be popping in another about 2 weeks. It's like a 90 card order, almost 100 card order. It's all vintage. And I will upload a video of that whenever it's in. And I have 4 more orders that I'm sending off today. It's May 2nd as I'm filming this video. And I have 4 more orders that are going out to PSA. A couple of them are expedited with like some Jackie Robinsons, and I have all kinds of other stuff. So as soon as they're all back, I will get everything loaded up. And feel free to follow me on TikTok. I have Superhero Stepdad on Instagram, Superhero Stepdad, YouTube channel here, Superhero Stepdad. I appreciate everybody watching, and I'll have more to come. Thanks.